Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Casillejos, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Lacey G.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And Nick is not here, which is so unfortunate because today we are breaking down Better Than Revenge.
Spicy.
Yeah, big time.
Spicy drama of 2009, 2010.
Just a classic Taylor lashing out.
Angsty.
Oh. So, Anna, what is Better Than Revenge? What was that inspired by?
Oh my God, we're just going to get into it.
I think so.
We're just going to get into it. In order to fully understand the cultural impact of Better Than Revenge, I have prepared a detailed 4-page outline on the back and forth that took place between 2008 to 2010 between Taylor Swift and the Jonas Brothers.
All right, I'm here for it.
So, backstory before we get into the timeline. Right. This is what Taylor said about the song Better Than Revenge. She said, the song Better Than Revenge is about a girl who a few years ago stole my boyfriend. I think she probably thought I forgot about it, but I didn't. And the hidden message is, you thought I would forget. So I guess I'll just go through this detailed timeline and then we'll just get into the lyrics and everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Please feel free to chime in with your thoughts. Now, this was a crazy time. If you transport yourself back to like 2008, Taylor Swift, the Jonas Brothers, like, I was a fan of both, still am. And so it was just like the back and forth madness of it all as like a 13-year-old girl. I couldn't handle the drama. I couldn't handle all of it. So Taylor and Joe Jonas sparked relationship rumors in 2008. And Taylor even joined the Jonas Brothers on stage during the Burn It Up tour, the 3D concert experience, to perform Should Have Said No. Iconic. It still comes up on my shuffle sometimes, and I can tell exactly when it starts because it's like...
I do love that version.
Right. So rumors started flying because Taylor and Joe sat next to each other at the MTV VMAs in 2008. And then we found out that Taylor and Joe were dating, but they broke up right before she released the Fearless album. But she did manage to get Forever and Always in there.
Yes.
Right? So then November of 2008, that's when Taylor goes on Ellen, and she confirmed that Joe broke up with her over the phone in a 27-second phone call, right? That everyone to this day still remembers.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I remember about the end of their relationship. But then I saw today on the Daily Beast, they said that this was the defining moment whenever everyone in the world knew that Taylor Swift and Joe Jonas had broken up.
See, this one even comes with a phone. See, so he can break up with other dolls. Stay away from him. Okay?
That was Taylor with a Joe Jonas Camp Rock
Doll.
Camp. Yeah,
Yeah,
doll. And
Yeah.
they were saying that was the defining moment whenever it was over. Whenever she's like, oh, look, this doll even comes with a phone.
So he can break up with other dolls.
That was the first time I saw that.
Oh, really? That was the first
Yeah.
time you saw that? Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Because we actually have, like, somebody sent us, like, because there was a Taylor Swift doll from, like, back in the day also, and we have it as part of our shrine that we have here at our studio. And I remember when we first got it, that's what I immediately thought of. I was like, oh, my God, he also comes with a phone, so he can break up with other dolls. So,
Just so unfiltered.
right. I know. She was very unfiltered back then. I mean, she was young. She was going
Yeah,
through a
of
lot.
course.
She was in the public eye. She was putting her feelings on paper, and we love her for it.
Yes.
So again, so this is 2008. So a few days after Taylor went on Ellen and she like confirmed the 27-second phone call, right? Joe took to his own MySpace. That's how you know.
Back in the
MySpace
day.
to clear his name. He said, several things I will state with all my heart. I never cheated on a girlfriend. It might make someone feel better to assume or imply that I have been unfaithful, but it is simply not true. Maybe there were reasons for a breakup. Maybe the heart moved on. Perhaps feelings changed. I'm truly saddened that anything would potentially cause you to think less of me. So then he also addressed the infamous phone call with Taylor that was previously mentioned and said, for those who have expressed concern over the 27-second phone call, I called to discuss feelings with the other person. Those feelings were obviously not well received. I did not end the conversation. Someone else did. Phone calls can only last as long as the person on the other end of the line is willing to talk. So
Ooh, that's just casting all the blame.
So
That's
yeah.
just
hung up.
according to him,
yeah.
according to him,
That's all. This is your fault.
Right.
I mean, I'm getting like a hint of gaslighting there.
right.
A
And
little bit.
let's
Yeah.
also keep in mind that we didn't hear it until recently, but this was also when she wrote Mr. Perfectly Fine, right? So then December of 2008, the next month, they really awkwardly co-hosted the New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest.
Oh my God.
Do you remember
really?
that?
No.
So it was the Jonas Brothers, Taylor Swift, Demi Lovato, Ryan Seacrest, and Lionel Richie. And if you go and look at the photos or the videos, Taylor and Joe are on complete opposite sides of each other.
How miserable. Ring in the
So-
new year with
right.
the person you don't like.
So uncomfortable. It's like your ex, just like right there. That is so uncomfortable. So Taylor performed Love Story and Forever and Always at that.
Excellent.
right?
Ooh, in your face.
And then the Jonas Brothers performed Burnin' Up and Tonight, which is a breakup song. But it was like before this all happened. But anyway, so then in June of 2009, the Jonas Brothers released their album called Lines, Vines, and Trying Times. So this is where it gets messy. So on this album, they have a song called Much Better, which has a direct hit at Taylor because the lyric says, I got a rep for breaking hearts, and now I'm done with superstars, and all the tears on her guitar, I'm not bitter. And then the song goes on, and then they say, and then Joe says, but now I see everything I'd ever need is the girl in front of me. She's much better. So that's a direct dig at Taylor, you know?
But
The
isn't
tears
it-
on her
comes
guitar.
back in the song.
Isn't that kind of a dig at Camilla Bell too? Like, because she's not a superstar. Like, she's
Well-
she's just a person.
Well, she's an actress,
She is.
as we know.
She is,
Um,
but not a
think of the
superstar.
But he's just
irony.
saying, like, she's much better,
Yeah,
right? And so
yeah.
that's like, when this happened, when this dropped, I just remember sitting, like, in my car, like, on my way to school, and my mom was driving me because I was not 16 at the time. I was, like, young. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, that, unbelievable. So then, we continue. In November of 2009, Taylor mentions Joe in her forever iconic SNL monologue song, right?
Love it.
She says, you might think I'd bring up Joe, the guy who broke up with me on the phone, but I'm not going to talk about him in my monologue. And then she says, hey, Joe, I'm doing really well. I'm hosting SNL, but I'm not going to brag about that in my monologue, right? And then October 2010, that's when we get Speak Now. And we get Better Than Revenge, which we're talking about in this episode. But then we also get Last Kiss, which is also about Joe, but we'll get into that later. But the hidden message in Last Kiss is Forever and Always. So that's how we know that they're all connected.
Yeah.
So in Better Than Revenge, you know, she takes a direct stab at the song Much Better by also saying towards the end of the song, she's like, show me how much better you are, right? So that's a
Yeah.
direct response to the song Much Better. Okay. So then,
Taylor slaps.
what?
Taylor slaps.
I know. So then in September of 2011, the two of them make amends, and Joe even attended some of the Speak Now tour shows. And then in October of 2012, somebody in an interview asked him about the song We Are Never Getting Back Together, because at this point now we're in the Red era. And Joe said, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together isn't about him because they never tried to get back together. They just broke up and that was it. But he also praised the Red album, talking about her concerts, had nothing but good things to say about her from like that point on. And then in May of 2015, in an interview, Joe was asked about his thoughts on being the subject of some of Taylor's songs. And he said, that's part of being a musician. You write songs about each other, which I think Harry Styles kind of also said something similar about like, yeah, like as musicians, you understand like, they're subjects to my song. I could be the subject of their songs as well. So then in the summer of 2015, Joe and Taylor are definitely cool because they go on double dates because Joe started dating Gigi Hadid, who is one of Taylor Swift's closest friends, right? And at that point in time, that's when she was dating Calvin Harris. And Joe and Nick also attended her forever iconic 4th of July party. There's like pictures of them in like the onesies, the, you know, whatever, at the Rhode Island house.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that double date with Calvin and Taylor's just all hunched over because she's not happy, like Todrick Hall was saying that one time in the interview with us? I don't know. I'm just picturing like that double date and how weird it would be.
And what did
then
they talk about?
Joe and Gigi.
Yeah,
like
Joe
that
and
seems
Gigi.
like a big mispairing too.
Yeah, which turned out to be because they didn't last very long either. So then in May of 2019, Taylor went on Ellen, and that's when she said that she regrets putting Joe on blast all those years ago. It was like she was playing that like buzzer game or whatever with Ellen, And she was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. So she just went on the record to say,
Oops.
oops. But also, I mean, she was young and in the spotlight and
it hurt.
And it hurt, yeah. And he was public as well. Like, they were both publicly taking jabs at each other.
Yeah.
And then July of 2020, that's when Taylor writes Invisible String on Folklore.
Now I send their babies presents.
Right. Yes. Cold was a steel of my axe to grind for the boys who broke my heart. Now I send their babies presents. And we assumed that was about Joe and Sophie, and we'll get into that as well. Topical. And then April 2021 is when we got Mr. Perfectly Fine on Fearless, Taylor's version. And then Sophie even shared the song on Instagram saying, I mean, it's not it's not a bop.
I love her.
So then June 2022 and onward, whenever the Jonas Brothers perform Much Better, he changed the lyrics to say, now I'm cool with superstars, and all the tears on her guitar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it started when they performed it last year. It was like huge. I remember like seeing the video and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like it was a big deal. And now anytime they perform it, he says, now I'm cool with superstars.
That's nice.
And all the tears on her guitar. And yeah, this is very topical because as of right now, from when we're recording this episode, we just found out that Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner are splitting up and getting divorced. And so now a lot of people are going back to the relationship between Joe and Taylor, being like, yeah, well, he broke up with Taylor over a 27-second phone call. How did he break up with Sophie? Like, it's just like it's a whole back and forth, and it's a very, very messy public divorce that's currently ongoing.
But it is interesting, though. I don't really follow all the celebrity stuff anymore. It is interesting the jabs that Joe is taking. For him to say that she's just young and wants to party all the time, and it's like, dude, you married a young chick, and then you get mad at her for being young.
It's really, honestly, it's really, really messy, and I hate the way that his side is handling it all. Because, yeah, they got married when, like, I think she was 20, and then she had her first kid at 24, had her second kid, and now she's 27. She's a young actress, whatever. And like, it really bothers me because people are like, well, she married a musician. She should have known that, like, he'd be on tour. And it's like, yeah, well, he married an actress. He should have known that she'd be on set.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
And there's just, like, the way that his side, I don't know if it's, like, him, his friends, his sources, his PR team, whoever is handling his side of it all is doing a really terrible job. They're trying to paint this narrative of Sophie being a bad mom, but I feel like in this day and age,
You're the Barbie.
well, and especially after years of seeing how women like Taylor Swift were treated by the media, I feel like at this point we can all see right through it. We're like, no, you're trying to feed us this narrative and we don't buy it because it's like we don't. And I really think that his side completely forgot that Sophie has a fan base of her own who like has her back, right? And so it's like, what did you think this smear campaign was going to achieve?
Yeah.
And for me, I think it went really, really, really low and I'm a fan of the Jonas Brothers, but every day this is just making me so upset because in their relationship, in Joe and Sophie's relationship, Sophie was adamant about keeping their kids private. She wouldn't release the name of her kids, no pictures, nothing. She was so adamant about it. Paparazzi photos, anything that even fans of like Joe and Sophie, whenever they would see them in public, fans would share pictures, but like blur out the kids because they knew that it was so important to Sophie and Joe, so we thought at the time. But the second they get divorced, the second that she is overseas and he files for divorce, he then goes on a very planned PR campaign where he like is out being a good dad or whatever, out at lunch with his kids in public. And it's like, are you really using your kids like that? Like, that's the one thing that she's probably so adamant about, like keeping her kids private. And then he's out being photographed with the kids. And for me, that's where that really, really crossed the line because you can fight with each other all you want, but when you bring your kids into it, come on.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that he says, or his team says, well, he's having to watch the kids while he's on tour. Oh, okay. Yeah. So a dad has to watch his kids?
He's a parent?
This is my biggest pet peeve. I don't know if I've shared it on this podcast before or not, but when dads get praised for doing the same thing that moms do every single day, like outrageously praised.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's your job.
Exactly. Well, that's why it's like, oh, he was out to lunch with his kids and we're supposed to be like, here's a gold sticker.
Yeah.
Also, the nanny was there. Like, bro, like, it just... It's getting really messy and it's unbelievable. And now like her side has been really quiet about it all, but they've kind of like slowly started to reveal some of the things about how it was like they're saying that it was like a mutual decision for her to go to England and film the show that she's doing, and for the kids to stay with him on tour because their entire family's on this tour, including their like the grandparents, all the other families like on this tour, so the kids would be better taken care of on tour with Joe, surrounded by family, than like, you know, in England with like a babysitter while Sophie's on set. So it was like a mutual agreement. But then the second that she leaves, oh my God, she's a bad mom. Yeah. Why? Because she has like a career? Like, come on. So it's just this like smear campaign that's going on is just absolutely horrific. But I do think that like now in the summer of Barbie and in the year of 2023, I think we can just like see a PR move when it's a PR move.
Yeah.
And he needs to fire his team.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a good look. Now, fictionalizing though, because this is super, super fresh and they are exes, is there any chance of a Joe and Taylor reconciling at some point?
No.
Just saying that they're both free.
Has Taylor ever gotten back? Oh, yeah. We're never getting back together. It means that they've gotten back together.
I don't think with someone like Joe, though. Like, no. I don't think so. They
went through stuff together while they were younger and then maybe grew up and grew. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But I do like the idea of fairy tales. I don't know that I believe in them, but I like the idea of fairy tales. Not that he's necessarily a fairy tale, but just the story kind of would be.
I think in the fictional sense of her getting back together with an old flame, he's not at the top of my list.
Yeah, for sure.
He's just not. For me personally. Like, I just feel like she had other better relationships. And this one, they were teenagers, right?
Yeah,
like
for a summer.
For a summer, if that. And then he dated one of her best friends. You know what I mean? I just,
I'm not going to lie. It did cross my mind. I'm like, so that means they're both single.
Yeah.
But no, I would like to think Taylor can find happiness somewhere else.
Yeah. Me too.
Well, and also that she doesn't have to find happiness through a man or a relationship, too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So on my way in this morning, I tried finding the Better Than Revenge Live to listen to that from the Speak Now tour, and I couldn't find it for a half a second. And I thought, did they get rid of the Speak Now tour?
Oh, from like Spotify?
Yeah, but they didn't. It's still on there.
Oh.
And then I felt guilty because I found it and I listened to it because I wanted to hear the live version.
And you were about to come into it being like, it's not on Spotify anymore.
Yeah.
It has been dethroned, removed.
So I just love all the sass in Taylor. And not only that, but whenever you talk a big game, you hope to be able to follow through. Like, I just made such a big deal about this. Now I have to do it, you know? And here she is. She's been saying for years since debut that there's nothing she does better than revenge. And she's still serving it to this day. I love that. I love that. So she starts off with, now go stand in the corner and think about what you did.
It's an iconic opening line.
It's so taunting and so, little girl, you go do this.
Yeah. It's just sassy and angsty and young, you know?
The story starts when it was hot and it was summer.
And they started dating in July.
Mm-hmm.
I had it all. I had him right there where I wanted him. She came along, got him alone, and let's hear the applause. She took him faster than you could say sabotage.
Yeah. I mean, like most Speak Now songs, I feel like this is just very straight to the point, right? So I never saw it coming, nor would I have suspected it. I underestimated just who I was dealing with. She had to know the pain was beating on me like a drum. She underestimated just who she was stealing from.
Okay, now we're getting to the controversial part, which is in the chorus. People didn't know if Taylor was going to keep the old chorus or change it up, because in the original she said,
she's not a saint and she's not what you think. She's an actress. She's better known for things that she does on the mattress. And the slut shaming, which was so 2010, did not sound too well in 2023.
Yeah, so Taylor did make a lyric change, and she defended this by saying, I was 18 when I wrote Better Than Revenge. That's the age you are when you think someone can actually take your boyfriend. Then you grow up and realize no one can take someone from you if they don't want to leave. She got some mixed reactions with that. One person said, honestly, the change is just a rare move for Taylor, who has kept her re-recorded albums as close to the originals as possible. Just call it her growth era. And other mixed feelings were saying, we miss brutal Taylor, where she hated everyone, but lover era Taylor assassinated her.
Well, she's dead.
I mean, it's weird. It was socially acceptable, but I mean, Beyonce, Lizzo, everyone's changing the lyrics just because there's backlash on anything.
It was meant in a completely different way than how we speak now, but the point is people still get offended by it, though, regardless of the intent. I didn't mean that in a bad way. This was 2010. It was a different time then. People still get mad because that's why she changed the word fat from the scale on anti-hero, because it matters. So she's not caving. Someone else did say on Reddit, called her a pathological people pleaser, said that she just gave in to please other people.
But see, I don't really even think that's why she did it.
I don't think so either.
Personally, because at the very, very beginning of the re-recording process, she said that this was an opportunity for her to, make the changes that she always felt like she wanted to do. She didn't say specifically like this lyric, but Taylor herself, ourselves, us, I mean, people change over 10 years, right?
You're allowed to change.
You're allowed to change. Your views can change. And her being who she is now, a feminist, women supporting women, all this stuff, like, I'm sure she personally probably didn't want to sing that lyric. And it's Taylor's version. If she wants to change anything, she's the one person that can do it. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what Nick had said at the very beginning of our Speak Now era. Like, it's Taylor's version. We're here to support Taylor's version. This is the version that she wanted to put out now. And the way I see it is, especially with the Eras tour, we get to relive all of the nostalgia and the 17-year career of Taylor Swift. But with the Eras tour, there is also so many new fans and so many young fans. And so if she's releasing an album that's going to be new to a lot of people, especially a lot of young people, if she has the opportunity to take away a misogynistic lyric, I would take that opportunity also. When you go to the concerts and you see all these young Swifties, and it's like, do you want all these young Swifties singing about, the things that she does on the mattress when you have the opportunity to just change it? Like,
And this is something that she can be proud of, and is.
Yeah. And, maybe one day if she performs this as a surprise song, she'll talk about it more, like, in depth about how she feels about it, because this is just how I feel about it. But I 100% support the lyric change, because
I think it's just
Taylor's
taking
version.
ownership of blame. That's all that the lyric change is doing, is saying, I was firing off anger at someone who didn't, in the end, it's not her fault.
And
it's not her fault. But she was young, and I understand why she felt that way. But then now she realizes, you didn't mess up my relationship.
Yeah.
My relationship was messed up by the person I was with.
Right. And it's also like, okay, think about it. If you had, how like Facebook has those like Facebook memories. If one of your statuses from 2010 showed up and it had something along the lines of something that would be like kind of offensive now, that you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Would you delete it? Because I would.
Immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
So why is she not allowed to delete it?
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's her chance to do a do-over, and I 100% support it. So the lyric change is now, instead of she's better known for the things that she does on the mattress, she changed it to, he was the moth to her flame, she was holding the matches. But I will say, it is very hard for me to sing the new one, just because the old one is just so engraved in my mind that I have to like either not sing it at all or just like kind of stop myself and correct myself. But I have a really hard time, like when it comes on, just like on shuffle, and I'm like blindly singing, that to just like, he was a moth, like it just, I'm still not used to it.
It doesn't pack such a powerful punch as it did before.
I was going to say, I love that it's just wordy, because that's Taylor Swift, and that's me. Like using the most words imaginable, shoving them all in there and still making it sound good. Soon she's going to find stealing other people's toys on the playground won't make you many friends. She should keep in mind, there is nothing I do better than revenge.
Ha! Ha! See, okay, so the second verse I think is my favorite. She looks at life like it's a party and she's on the list. She looks at me like I'm a trend and she's so over it. And she sings it with that kind of like sass. Too.
Yeah.
Like, she's so over it. Like
it.
You can hear her rolling her eyes, right? I think
that just puts fear in my heart as a fellow resting bitch face person. Like, that just makes me so paranoid. She looks like a trend and she's so over it. It's like, man, whenever I'm just off thinking and I've got my tongue sticking out and I'm just thinking off in the distance.
Why is your tongue sticking out?
I don't know, because I like to stick my tongue out whenever I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but then I'm just worried about having like stupid face. And I went to a selfie place recently and I tried doing the no smile because that's hot, you know? No, I looked like I was frowning in all of them. Like, I didn't realize you have to do a little smile in the end or you're still like,
I don't know that trick.
Like, I didn't look pouty. I looked upset. Like, she's so over it. I think her ever-present frown is a little troubling. And she thinks I'm psycho because I like to rhyme her name with things.
And this is so funny because I feel like fans have always talked about like, but what words was she rhyming with Camila Bell?
Did you
That's
hear?
hilarious.
What?
Okay, so there was a rumor that there's a muffled voice in the background of the song where Taylor says Godzilla, Camilla, and Godzilla.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
Wait, I need to listen with like surround sound, like in.
It's like muffled Godzilla.
They're in the song?
That's what the rumor is. I mean, I didn't hear it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had never heard one of those. I never thought about what she was trying to rhyme with, and that is just hilarious.
But I mean, I'm sure there's tons of things that rhyme with Belle, but I guess Godzilla's funny.
Oh, wow. I really have to listen with like super, super intense like headphones for that. I've never heard that.
Sophistication isn't what you wear or who you know or pushing down people to get you where you want to go. They didn't teach you that in prep school, so it's up to me. No amount of
vintage dresses gives you dignity. It's just so, it's like such like a
rocking out.
Like, yeah, like rocking out, like headbanging, like ah.
In the smash room, you know, destroying things.
Yeah, angsty.
And then she goes into the chorus again. I'm just another thing for you to roll your eyes at, honey. You might have him, but haven't you heard?
I'm just another thing for you to roll your eyes at, honey.
You might have him, but I'll always get last word.
Whoa!
And do you still feel like you know what you're doing? Because I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Oh. Do you still feel like you know what you're doing? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Let's hear the applause. And that's why I wanted to listen to the Speak Now live today. Because then whenever she said, let's hear the applause, and everybody's just cheering, she's like, yeah, I'm the mastermind. That was old Taylor, like masterminding the whole crowd. I love it.
And then this is the, and then she gets into the dig at the Jonas Brothers song with, show me how much better you are.
Yeah. See, you deserve some applause.
Because you're so much better.
She took him faster than you could say sabotage.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's clear that she was mad at Joe, but she took it out on Camilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she corrected it.
She did.
So, do you ever wonder if you're a little bit crazy, or is it just me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you worry if you're crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Do you worry if
What
you're
did you do
crazy?
lately that made you question that?
So, I have a system in my phone. This is for boys. If I should stop communicating with you, I change your name to dead graveyard. Like I make a little graveyard and I send them all to the graveyard. So I have a list of people who's in my graveyard. Well, then
This is
one
like
of
on your like
them-
notes app or something? Or?
No, this is like in my contacts.
Oh, okay.
That way, like, I won't reach out or something too.
It's a reminder.
Yeah. Well, then I had someone resurrect from the graveyard.
Was it Jesus?
Look what you made me do.
And then I felt a little silly because I was like, oh, well, I don't know who this is. And da-da-da. So,
Wait, you don't you don't have the name on it anymore? It's just
No,
like
it's graveyard.
that's it. Just
Yeah.
So you have multiple contacts in your phone named Graveyard, is what you're saying.
Yes. So someone resurrected from the graveyard, and I didn't know who it was, and I had to tell them.
Oh my
So
God, Lacey.
what did you say? Were you like, who is this? New phone, who dis? Or what did you say?
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know who this is, and he was like, what?
It shouldn't matter. You graveyard him.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm also weak. So I think I'm going to change my system instead of just immediately putting them in the graveyard. And then they're like, dude, I haven't even talked to you. And I'm like, I know, that's why you're in the graveyard, duh. But I think I need to change my system. Instead, I need to add skulls to their name for every time they make me mad.
Yes.
And then after they get so many skulls, send them to the graveyard. That way I don't have to be like, oh, dude, I deleted you a long time ago and you're now in my graveyard.
This is a great suggestion.
That is a good idea. And you know how in a contact you can put something in like the company line?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put a little description there so you know who it is.
Yeah, the worst offense goes in the company name.
Yeah, whatever they did goes in the company line. Like whatever it was that they did.
But yeah, when I got contacted from the graveyard and they definitely like didn't understand where I was coming from, I was like, wow, this is very one-sided. Maybe I need to take a step back.
So is this person like currently alive?
Yeah.
I mean, like not in your graveyard anymore?
No, they're still in my graveyard.
I don't mean
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
I don't mean like literally alive. I mean like in your graveyard.
They're still in my graveyard.
imagery.
Yeah.
They're still in the graveyard.
They're still
but
in
you're
the
talking to
graveyard.
them.
She speaks to the dead.
Yeah.
Yay,
He
just in
hasn't
time
earned
for
his way out of the graveyard yet.
Okay.
Just
he
in
has,
time for
he has to solve the riddles first. Yeah.
Yeah.
haunted.
Just in time for Haunted, Taylor's version, and also for spooky season. Right around the corner.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not psycho because I was feeling a little bit crazy.
Well, I mean, I don't do that crazy, but I do other crazy.
Okay.
I will not give any examples. I think we got plenty.
Amy, I think this is a crazy space. So go ahead. You can share.
I don't have any examples. I mean, when the kids were younger, I would, I feel like I was going insane. So I'd always encourage them, if I need to be put in the psych ward, go ahead and do it. I encourage the vacation. Please.
I want to rest. That's what Amy would say.
That is exactly what I would say. Send me away. Send me to the loony bin, but never happened.
Anna?
Oh, I'm sure that I have. I wish I had something top of mind to share, like your graveyard story. And once I think of something, I will. But yeah, come on. We've all done crazy things.
I just think I'm a little quick to trigger, and I come up with this whole narrative, and then someone else is like, what?
What?
So I don't want to bring them to the graveyard anymore. So I think I just need to change my system so I don't let on what's actually going on in my head.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so one of my favorite things about our Speak Now era is we have been posting on our social media asking for our listeners to share their stories, memories, misheard lyrics, whatever have you about each song to then share them on the podcast so we can all teleport back to 2010.
Yes.
So here are some of the comments from our post asking for memories, stories, anything that has to do with Better Than Revenge. Harujiro wrote and said, I often wear vintage, so when she says, but no amount of vintage dresses gives you dignity, I feel attacked.
I would too.
Louis Cara, SCOSC, said, for the longest time, I thought Better Than Revenge was a dystopian reference. I heard she's an actress, whoa, better known for the things that she does on the Matrix world.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
And then they wrote, innocent me, LOL. Phoebe Luftig said, my friends and I made a Better Than Revenge music video circa 2011 because one of our other friends had a cooler Nerf gun at her birthday party than everyone else. 11-year-olds can't get over anything.
I've been there.
Which is so funny because, oh my God, that just reminded me. So back then in like 2010, 2011, Kylie Jenner and Kendall Jenner and like a few of their friends made a music video to Better Than Revenge. Like where they're like doing like the singing along the lyrics
and it's like
or whatever.
Home video, like that kind of quality.
Like very, very much so early 2000s. Like we all did this, right? Like at one point or another. My friends and I did it to some, like made a music video to some Black Eyed Peas song. Like it was just like everybody in that age just wanted to make a music video.
I did Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Jazzercise music video.
Please tell me you still have
Please,
this.
do you have
No,
it?
I don't think we recorded it. I think we just did it. This was not 2010. I'm a little older than Anna.
Sydney Joe Dominguez said, when I was 9, I used to put Better Than Revenge on repeat on my family's iPod Nano and dance around like a crazy person. It was randomly my favorite. I also thought that the things that she does on the Matrix lyrics were referring to her sleeping super well.
Taylor's so jealous of her
Oh my God.
restful sleep.
I hate when my ex's new girlfriend gets good sleep. That is so funny.
It's because Taylor never sleeps. She's so jealous.
That's true. That's true. She's just busy.
Mia Winkle said, Better Than Revenge helped me get from sad to angry in the grieving process after my divorce. It was very petty, but sometimes rolling your eyes and singing, she looks at me like I'm a trend and she's so over it, is just what you need to do to survive.
Nice.
And then lastly here, Jenna Esek said, my favorite memory with Better Than Revenge was convincing 2 of my non-Swiftie friends to karaoke it with me a few years ago. They'd never heard the song before, so they were listening to it on repeat at the bar trying to learn it before we went up there. And they ended up loving it, of course.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool to read all of these, fun memories and stories about all of these songs now that we get to enjoy them again. So, or for some people for the first time. So super cool. So thank you for sharing those stories with us, and we'll continue it for the rest of Speak Now.
And great karaoke suggestion.
Yeah, that makes me want to do some Taylor Okie.
Yeah.
We need to get busy, get
We
planning.
do.
We've been getting a lot of nice reviews, y'all. So I wanted to share one. This was from Yes, Review Time said, this podcast gives me life. They said, I'm a relatively new Swiftie, and this podcast has shown me so many songs that I had never even heard of that I love. You guys are hilarious and make my day. I can't wait for when you guys get to dissect 1989 Taylor's version.
We're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, so the time is coming. I think we're starting to trickle out our Speak Now episodes, right? We're going to double up.
We're gonna
No promises.
I did the math. So
listen. We don't
that's
know.
iffy.
We don't know how we're gonna do it, but we will be on time for 1989. Don't you worry.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Lacey G.
Why do we do this? Why do we?
It's because she does it.
She leads it. She kicks it off. I'm Anna,
Amy.
and you're watching Disney Channel.
And join us next time. We are going to be breaking down Innocent.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.